Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Dirt, Gray, and Steel. So last night we finished up soybean harvest here on our farm. So soybeans 2020 are finished. Today we're going to go to a friend of mine's. He's got 20 acres of soybeans that he wants me to custom cut for him. So we're going to get over there, we're going to get that cutting done. We're going to discuss the reasons for cutting beans straight and the reasons for cutting beans on an angle. I had a viewer that asked about that. So we're going to discuss that when we get over there and start cutting. And then we're going to take the Gleaner back down to our new farm and we're going to set it back up for corn, and we are going to finish out the season picking corn with the Gleaner. So, and I also think that I found another L2 with a corn head that I'm probably going to go look at and see about purchasing. So it's a might. It's not I'm gonna do it. We'll see what happens. So anyways, stay tuned today. Things are going to be exciting. So we got started cutting beans here, and let's talk about cutting on an angle versus cutting straight with the rows. So right now, this was planted this way, straight. I'm running at a severe angle across it due to the fact that it's got a lot of ridges from being planted, and what was discussed was how the cutter bar wears versus on an angle or straight. Well, with those ridges being straight, and if I was to cut straight, that cutter bar is going to slide on that ridge the whole length of the field. And when we talk about cutter bar wear, we're not necessarily talking about the sickles and the guards. We're talking about the poly skid plates or steel skid plates underneath the cutter bar that slide on the ground and make contact with the ground. So if I'm riding that ridge the whole way across the field with that cutter bar, with the poly skids or steel skids sliding on that dirt, I'm going to wear that a lot quicker versus if I'm running at a severe angle coming on and off of those ridges. I hope that makes sense. And plus, we cut on an angle sometimes just because it's a smoother ride in the machine. This field has actually changed directions of being farmed. They're farming it the opposite way of what it used to be farmed, so it's fairly rough. The reason that they're changing directions is because they cleared off quite a bit of ground and they made some more long rows. So when doing so, they were able to change the direction of the field to make their rows longer. So that's this field right here. And I got a little crooked on my angle here. The first pass was kind of rough, and I was concentrating on driving and just kind of watching what I was doing, and I ended up crooked. But I'm still at enough angle across the original workings of the field that it makes a difference. So it is a legitimate thing to work or to cut beans on an angle. A lot of my fields, I ran the soil finisher over them, and then when I planted them with my air seeder, it left them very level. So I really don't have the ridges like this field does. So that's why you usually just see me planting straight. Or not planting straight, cutting straight, because I really don't have those ridges that are really going to wear on my cutter bar. The whole cutter bar is laying over the ground pretty evenly, so it wouldn't matter if I went at an angle or not. I still got about the same contact on the ground. But it's not putting a lot of pounds per square inch in any spot on my poly skid plates. So it's all sliding pretty easily, and there's not a lot of friction there. Ideally, a floating cutting bar on a combine should be fairly light. They shouldn't touch the ground very hard because the combine's actually carrying the weight of the head. The cutter bar is actually on springs, and it actually hangs off of the frame of the head. So the whole square tube part of my head and reel are not sitting on that cutting bar. The combine's holding them up. Just the cutter bar itself, the whole floor of the head, is what's hanging and rubbing on those poly skid plates. And the automatic header control ensures that it keeps that cutter bar weightless, basically, other than its own weight. So, but forgot what I was going to say. But anyways, so if I'm in no-till ground that was planted with the corn planter and then had anhydrous applicated on it, it's going to have more ridges than if it was worked ground that I just planted soybeans. So on my my ground that's no-till, I run on an angle. So I don't show it much on video, but I did a couple times this year run on angles, and I guess I didn't really take video at those times because there's very few fields that I actually no-tilled this year. Everything was pretty much disc ripped and soil finish, so it was all nice and level. And then when I planted it, it leveled it out a little more. So that's why you haven't seen me do much of an angle this year. But this particular farm, actually, this was no-till after I started looking at it. So we're actually fighting the ridges from the previous year, which it's no big deal. These 1020 case heads and the John Deere heads, all the newer heads, they float and flex very good, so it don't really cause an issue. Now another thing is ground that's been moldboard plowed. If you have like your dead furrows out there in the field and stuff, and you try to cut long ways with the field, follow the direction that the field's been farmed, if you get in that dead furrow and the combine tips, it can make one side or the other side of the head pushing the dirt. That's another good candidate for cutting on an angle, because you're coming in and out of that dead furrow at an angle and you're basically walking through it, so to speak. So there's kind of theories behind it. It is a legitimate thing. I'm not really concerned about it because it's not like I cut 3,000 or 4,000 acres of soybeans a year and wear out skid plates. Now if I cut 3,000 or 4,000 acres a year, I would probably cut more on an angle in my no-till ground just so I'm not wearing my skid plates out. But being, you know, we're like maybe maximum 800 acres of beans a year, it really don't concern me too much. These skid plates last forever. I mean, these are probably the original skid plates on this head, and this head's got to be every bit of 25 years old, and they're still the originals, and they're just now starting to get to the point where they're wore and breaking. I need to replace some before next fall, but I mean, they last forever, so it's just not a huge concern. It's more of a concern for operator comfort, basically, for the smoothness of the ride, than it is, you know, wearing the skid plates out. I guess that's a good way you can look at it. So, anyways, I hope that answered any questions on cutting on an angle versus cutting straight with the rows. If you got any more questions, just feel free to ask. I'm not sometimes the best at explaining stuff. I know what I want to say, but sometimes it just don't come out the way I think it should have came out. But, so, anyways, so if you're liking this episode of Dirt Green Steel so far, give me a like and subscribe. We're going to get these beans finished up, and we're going to switch over to corn and get picking some corn today. Thanks for watching so far. So we got all the custom beans cut, done with soybeans. Dad's strength's going to put the bean heads away in the building. So we're back down to cornfield. We're going to get the corn head put on. We're going to get the bean screen taken out. And we're going to set our cylinder clearance to allow more space between the cylinder and concave to allow the ears of corn to pass through. well, thresh and pass through without busting the cobs up. So to do this, we've got set it at 1/2 inch now. We need to move it up to about 5/8. So to do this, we're going to loosen this bolt or nut. We're going to loosen that nut, loosen this adjustment up, and then we are going to pick the cylinder up off the concave. Now on a red combine, a case combine, you actually move the concave closer to the rotor. In these combines, the Gleaners, you move the cylinder away from the concave to allow for more clearance. So I'm going to get that done real quick, and then we'll get the bean screen out of it. And I've already got the cylinder speed set. I set that on the way over here, fan choke set. And so we are ready to roll once I get this adjustment made and get the corn head back on. So we'll get this done real quick and we'll get back at it. So after readjusting our cylinder height, we have to readjust our roller chain here for the separator beater and tailings auger that pulls it from the conveyor over into the cylinder again. So what we have to do to tighten that up is we just loosen this up, move it up in the slot, tightens the chain back up, and this is all done. I've got everything adjusted, nuts all tightened back up. So this part will be done as soon as I tighten that up. So now we're going to move on to taking the bean screen out, and Dad's Strength's here to assist me. All we got to do to take this bean screen out is take this bolt out. There's a bolt back there, you can see a shiny bolt. Take that one out. Take the other two out on the other side. Flip the door down in the back, and we'll pull that screen right out the back. So we'll do that real fast, and then we'll put the head on and we're ready to go. So we also had to drop the stationary knives down out of the chopper. So Dad's Strength's working on that right now. It's just simple as loosening up two bolts, take a pry bar and roll them down out of there. So I got the bolts all out of the bean screen. As you can see, it's got pods and stuff stuck in it. So we're gonna go ahead and get that pulled out, flip this door back up, put the head on, and we're ready to roll. So here's the bean screen. That's all that's in there. We're going to throw it in the back of the truck, and that's it. We just got to shut the door yet. Here, you want to take that screen? Just throw it in the back of the truck. Well, lay it, don't throw it. But, oh. So get this shut up. Okay, time to put the head on. We can go back to picking corn. So we're back to picking corn now. Got the combine all set. Got a clean grain sample. We're going to try to get this field picked off this evening. We got the two trucks to dump in. We got the grain cart we can fill. So we got plenty of space. Dad was already down here. He has been down here since about 10 o'clock this morning. He's been picking with the 1660 while I was doing that custom cutting on them soybeans. So he got a pretty good start. We got this field to finish up, and then we have two other good sized fields down here on our new farm, and then we're going to head back towards home and get all that wiped out. And then we got about 100 acres down in Pulaski County by my grandpa's place that we're gonna pick off. Actually, we might go there next before we go back home. We'll see. It's actually straight as the crow flies west of where we're at now. Or no, east of where we're at now. I'm sorry. East of where we're at. So we might just go there next. We'll see what happens. So, but from here on out, it's going to be all corn. No more beans to cut. Heads are put away. Well, not put away yet. We're going to blow them all off with leaf blowers. And then we throw tarps over them. That way the pigeons can't poop on them. So I'd rather have a tarp with pigeon poop on it than have a bean head with pigeon poop all over it. Oh, it's soft down here. It's muck on these ends. But we'll get through it. It's a Gleaner advantage. She's a lot lighter. This is some really nice corn. It's amazing how well the corn did this year compared to the soybeans. And everybody says the same thing. I don't quite understand it. I really thought that the soybeans would do better, but I don't know. As hot and dry as it was, I didn't think that we would have the corn that we have this year, but luckily we've got some good corn. Kind of wish we would have planted all 1,500 acres with just corn. But, you know, if you had that crystal ball to look into, or that magic mirror on the wall, we would have known that, but, you know, it happens. We need to put a surface drain right here in this low spot, run tile to it, put a surface drain. We're going to make some improvements on this farm this winter. So, that is one thing we offer when we farm ground. We offer to do improvements. We have the excavating equipment to do it. We can clear ground, put tile in, clean ditches. Basically work a contract out with the landowner. They let us farm it for so many years, and we'll do land improvements. But kind of have to have a contract to do that because, you know, nobody wants to go in and clear woods off and the landowner decides next year to have somebody else farm it instead of you. You know, that's not right. So that's why we do a contract or a good handshake verbal agreement also. So anyways, I'm going to keep picking and see what we can get done today, or tonight. So I had to laugh a little bit ago. My cousin Eric knows me very well, knows the kind of things that I like. He sends me a ad from Facebook Marketplace of a Uni-Harvester, a new idea Uni-Harvester that's up for sale. Actually, two of them. They come with, I think, the combine attachment, and I think the other one's got the ear corn picker attachment. Well, if anybody's familiar with the Uni-Harvester system from New Idea, and I think AGCO bought them out later, but the Uni-Harvester basically was a frame, engine, transmission, and a cab, and you could put the separator to make it a combine, you could put the chopping unit to make it a silage harvester, you could put the ear corn picker to make it an ear corn picker, or you could also put like a corn planter on the front of them, or you could spray with them. You could do all kinds of cool stuff with them. In fact, elevators used to put conveyors on them to use them for making their grain piles and cleaning up the grain piles. So the Uni-Harvester was a pretty cool deal. Well, they don't pop up very often for sale. He's seen it, he thought that I'd love it, and he sends it to me and says, Dirt Gray and Steel needs a Uni-Harvester for YouTube content. I said, well, if we weren't looking at another L2 Gleaner, that's a possibility of buying, we might go buy the Uni-Harvester. But we'll see. I can't really swing all this fall. So I just thought it was pretty cool. I'm sure some guys are familiar with them, and some guys aren't familiar with them. But I've even seen guys put snow blowers and stuff on them. So they either came two-wheel drive, or you could get them in a four-wheel drive model. I know some of them were Perkins powered, some of them were Cummins powered, some were Detroit powered, and then the older ones, some of them were gas powered. I'm not sure what engines they used on the gas powered ones, but pretty cool. So you're ever bored, get on the YouTube, which you're already on watching me, and look up the Uni-Harvester system. Kind of cool. So we're going to get back to picking. We're unloaded now. And I figured I'd just dump because I got to stop anyways. And Dad's strength was going to unload Dad anyways, so Dad can unload on the go. I haven't been brave enough to try to unload on the go yet. So I'm going to get back at it. Well, we got moved to the next field, and we still got the grain cart that we can pick into for the night. So we're going to fill the cart, fill the 2 combines, and then probably call it a night. So this is some higher sand ground, but still not bad looking corn really, for as dry as it was. Oh, Dad's strength's here to pick me up. We're gonna go get the grain cart and get it moved to this field now. So we'll go get it. We'll be back to picking. So we got the grain cart moved. I brought it to the field. Dad's strength took me for it. So we're gonna get back to picking and get this broke in tonight. Then we can start in the morning and go at it hard picking. So I'm gonna go get the L2. I left it over here somewhere. I gotta find it. Well, grain cart's full, combines are full, and that's gonna be it for the day. So I'm gonna run the semi back to the shop. Got the Pete, run it back, and then call it a night. So anyways, thank you everybody for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I will see you on the next one.